What is going on, everybody? It's the France, and we're here for our SmackDown and Rampage review for May the 27th, 2022. As we have 2 days before Double or Nothing. And I didn't know this or realize this until tonight. We are 1 week away from Hell in a Cell. That was terrible. I apologize. So, tonight we had the semi-final match in the Owen Hart Foundation for the women's side, which was honestly the best match in the entire tournament, qualifiers or non-qualifiers, in quarterfinals and semis. By far, Ruby Soho and Chris Statlander killed it tonight. Also, Matt Sydal, Bryan Danielson. Danielson, of course, last week after the show went off the air and they had their brawling, his foot went in between the ramp and the ring. And he suffered. He dinged his leg up a little bit, but he wanted to have a match tonight so he could prove to people that he is able to go on Sunday. That was the whole reason behind this match. Him and Matt Sydal had a hell of a match as well. Also, Young Bucks took on Taylor Russ, which I believe is Tyler Russ from the Diamond Mine, and John Cruz, the Pentaco, in his alter ego. As well as Dante Martin versus Max Castor, which they gave you a reason of, this is not the first time that those two went one-on-one, because on I believe it was the debut episode of Dark Elevation last August, Dante Martin and Max Castor had a match in which Dante Martin was kicked in the dick when the referee wasn't looking, and Max Castor ended up picking up the win, and this is a rematch from almost 1 year ago. And then we'll get to SmackDown when we do. As I said, we started off with Matt Sydal and Bryan Danielson. This match was very good. Everything Bryan Danielson does turns to gold. It seems like this guy can't go out there and have a bad match. Even though I don't like the way the first match between him and Hangman Page went, and the second match was meh to me too, they still had a good match. This is like everything. Every time Danielson goes out there, you know you're going to get a killer match. You're not going to get a jobber match. You're not going to get a match that's going to last 30 seconds or 2 minutes. He's going to go out there and he's going to make his opponent work. And he made Matt Sydal work. Matt Sydal, of course, is no spring chicken either. He's been around probably almost as long as Bryan Danielson. So they lock up, and Danielson sends Sydal to the mat. He gets back up quickly, and the two lock up again. They exchange submissions with one another for quite a while, but Danielson gets the upper hand and hits a backbreaker. He hits 3 uppercuts on Sydal. Then locks in a full body stretch. Danielson delivers a shoulder tackle, but the Sydal hits a leg lariat. He hits a standing moonsault and goes for the pin, but Danielson kicks out. Sydal kicks Danielson in the leg. Danielson fires back with some knees and hangs Sydal off the top rope and hits a knee to the head on the top turnbuckle. He gloats in the ring. Danielson sends Sydal to the mat, then delivers the knees to the neck. Goes for the pin, but Sydal kicks out. Sydal hits a rising knee strike to Danielson. He delivers a couple of chops to Danielson as well. Sydal goes up top rope for another leg lariat, but Danielson catches him and goes for a move, but Sydal reverses it into a Hurricane Rana. Sydal goes for a pin, but Danielson kicks out. Sydal hits a kick to Danielson's head. He goes for another pin, but Danielson kicks out. Sydal goes for the top rope, and Danielson joins him on the second rope, and this was interesting. Sydal pushes him off and hits the Meteor, but Danielson counters and locks in a single leg crab. What a reversal. Locked in a submission deeper. Sydal rolls over, but Danielson locks in a knee bar. Sydal makes it to the top ropes to break the submission. Then Danielson goes for the yes kicks, but he usually hits it with the leg that is injured. He kicks one, he's like, oh shit, can't do that, so he has to switch to the other leg and gets a couple more kicks off. And you could tell by this time that he's favoring the knee. Then they get back on the top turnbuckle, and this was awesome. Is that Matt Sydal was up first, and Danielson comes up as well. He rotates over Danielson and hits a sunset flip powerbomb, 1-2 kick out. They exchange forearms, but Sydal manages to get a backslide. Danielson kicks out. Danielson hits the Psycho knee, then hits the Smoking Anvil elbows. Danielson locks in the chokehold, double wrist lock for the not the tap out, but the submission win, as Matt Sydal was out like a light. So that was a great match. Definitely one of the two best matches on the night was definitely this match and Statlander versus Ruby Soho. Everything else in the show was meh at the most. I mean, Dante Martin and Max Castor had an okay match. But Rampage had a great opener and a great closer, and that's all you can say about that. So, we go back to a commercial break, and we get a video package recapping Hookhausen's journey becoming a tag team as they will take on Smart Mark Sterling and Tony Nese on Sunday. So, next match is supposed to be the Young Bucks taking on whoever they're supposed to take on. But we hear the Hardy Boys music start playing, and out come the Young Bucks. It's like the Hardys have been calling them Young Hardy Boys cosplayers. So the Young Bucks were like, you know what? Fine, we'll come out and cosplay as you. And then all of a sudden they point to the middle of the stage. There's a black cloak, a black thing there, a black sheet there. Opens up or falls down, and Gangrel is behind it. And Brandon Cutler comes down dressed his best as Lita. I give it to Brandon Cutler because he knows his place in the company. You're not going to see Brandon Cutler become a world champion in AEW. But this dude is just going out there. He is definitely comedy, like the comedic part of this show, of these shows. And my goodness, I was like, what? For a minute, I was like, what the fuck is he dressed as? And then I'm like, oh, he's Lita. Good grief. And they took on John Cruz and Taylor Rush. I've said it before, I'll say it again. John Cruz is Serpentico outside of his mask. Don't let anybody know that otherwise. If you don't know that already, I don't know what to tell you. So we had this match. It was nothing big. I believe Taylor Rush was Tyler Rust in NXT, the member of the Diamond Mine that was there for a cup of coffee and then gone. But, yeah. Not much happened here. It was just Nick and Matt imitating the Hardy Boys as much as possible to, say, hey, you want to call us Hardy Boys cosplayers? We're going to act like Hardy Boys cosplayers. And then, I guess, with the whole Gangrel thing, it was like, yeah, last year when they did the whole Brood entrance for Edge at SummerSlam, Gangrel went on a podcast and said that ruined a spot for him in AEW, or canceled a spot for him. Apparently they made it up for him because here he was tonight. They do the whole Twist of Fate, Swanton Bomb, which, wow. Hit it pretty well. And they win. After the match, Gangrel raises his hands, they walk forward, does his signature pose, and they attack him, and they go for the BTE. Out come the Hardy Boys to make the save. The two teams stare each other down. They go for the double twist of fate, but Cutler hits them from behind. Gangrel takes him out, which looked... It was a botchish because he was supposed to kick him in the gut and then hit the Impaler DDT, but... Cutler wasn't close enough when he went to go kick him in the gut. He actually missed, so he kicked once, and then he had to knee him in the chest to get the Impaler DDT off. Swanton, Twist of Fate, Swanton Bomb, all the good stuff there, and the fans go home from that one happy. So we come to the next match, which was Max Castor versus Dante Martin. Like I said, this one is a rematch from Dark Elevation. I believe episode 1 is what they said. Of course, we have this group of the Gun Club and the of the Acclaimed. Anthony Bowens was actually in Vegas as he comes down in a wheelchair. They did this whole thing after the rap by Max Castor. Both members of the Gun Club was saying Los Angeles, and they're like, no, just give it to him. And he's like, watch this, and he did the whole Las Vegas. The Acclaimed had arrived. Scissor me, daddy ass, is what he said. He literally said, scissor me, daddy ass. Like, holy fuck, what the hell. So they had themselves a match here. The bell rings, match officially starts. The referee ejects the Gun Club immediately, and Anthony Bowens. Because what happened was, when he was doing Vegas, the Acclaimed had arrived, scissor me. Dante Martin did a springboard tope to everybody else and knocked everyone else down. He goes after Billy, or after the other two. Billy just picks him up as if he is a newborn baby and just shoves him into the apron and beats him up some more. And then throws him back in the ring, and that's why the referee said, fuck this. It was Aubrey, of course. She ain't going to have any of that shit in her matches. And just sends him to the back, and that's how that happened. So, Martin goes for a schoolboy roll-up, but Castor kicks out. Castor delivers a few kicks, but Martin fights back. Castor hits a double shoulder tackle, then goes for a pin. Martin kicks out. Martin fights back with some fists at the knee and a knee. He goes to the top, but Castor catches him and locks the figure for a leg lock. Martin reverses it on Castor, but Castor escapes. Tackling break, Castor hits a chop followed by a sidewalk slam. Castor climbs to the top and goes for a mic drop, but Martin moves out of the way. Martin hits a sunset flip and goes for a pin, but Castor kicks out. Martin sends Castor to the mat with a couple of elbow strikes, then hits the crossbody off the top, goes for the nosedive, and that is that. Yeah. And listen, nothing much here. It was just a match to put on here for the fans. Everybody loves the Acclaimed. I'm sure there were matches and everything taped for Dark Elevation tonight because no spoilers here, but there were only 2 matches taped on Wednesday night for Dark Elevation. So I figured they would probably have more matches here taped tonight. On the match, we get a video package for Adam Cole versus Samoa Joe in the Owen Hart Foundation Finals. I'm pretty sure they said that these two have never had a match against each other before, a singles match. So that is something to look forward to. Definitely Samoa Joe versus and like when we're looking back at everything with this one, it's one of those things that I still sit here and I don't understand why you had Satnam Singh and them attack Samoa Joe before his match against Kyle O'Reilly if Kyle O'Reilly wasn't going to win. Now, I understand why they didn't have Kyle O'Reilly win because, I mean, for fuck's sake, what happened just a couple months ago is that you had the never-ending feud between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly in NXT that ended at WrestleMania, not WrestleMania, but NXT TakeOver 36. So, there was that. Also, we did get a video package of Kyle O'Reilly being challenged to a match against him and Darby Allin at Double or Nothing. So, that match is happening at Double or Nothing. It's not the only match added tonight. Yeah, I should have waited to do my predictions, but I'm going to say that Darby Allin is beating Kyle O'Reilly at Double or Nothing. I don't see any reason for Kyle to win a singles match like that. So, next thing we know, we have Scorpio Sky, Dan Lambert, and them coming into the ring. Dan Lambert says he has put a new title together in about a week because he called red leather belts to get it done. He holds, Page holds the title covered with a cloth. He unveils to reveal the new title design. The only thing that it is that it's the same TNT title. I didn't know when they said they were going to do a title in Scorpio Sky's image. My first thought is they're going to do one with Scorpio's face on it because that's something that you could see happen. Thankfully, that didn't. All they did is they made the strap. The strap is gold or yellow, and the champion banner is in purple, Lakers colors. So I'm fine with that. It looks all pretty good. So I'm hoping after Jade loses the championship. And whoever she loses it to, I hopefully, if, say, a year or 2 from now, Thunder Rosa comes around and she wins the championship after, being women's champion and not doing anything for a while, and then she comes back around full circle and wins the TBS title. Maybe they give her a green, red, and white version to represent the Mexican flag. Or if Tay Conti ends up winning it, maybe she gets a... Sorry about that, I just knocked my mic over. Maybe she gets a Brazilian color with red, white, red, and blue. Not red and blue, yellow and blue and green, I think. Yeah, yellow, blue, and green. And I think the TBS and the TNT title should have this, that not everybody, but some talents, like a Miro, like a Scorpio Sky, maybe somebody like a Thunder Rosa, maybe a Tay Conti winning the secondary championship, gets their own personal version of it. Miro had it with the white and green, awesome looking one. Cody, Sami, and Darby all had the traditional ones, the black strap, since it went the black with the red on it. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I was half oh god, please tell me they're not going to bring out a TNT championship that has Scorpio Sky's face on it, because that I could totally see them doing that. Thankfully, they did not. So we get back from break. We get Mark Henry asking Soho about the match tonight. She wouldn't mean to her. She says he lost confidence in herself, but winning this would help her gain her confidence back. Statlander responds by asking, what does she have to show for being in AEW from the beginning? She has nothing. And nothing is going to stop her from getting winning this opportunity and winning this whole damn tournament. The promo that Statlander cut, which I'm not going to be able to get all the way through, but like Statlander, this is probably the best promo she's ever cut. Her dropping the alien gimmick was the best thing that could have happened to her because she can actually go out there, talk like a human being, and actually come off as genuine as possible. The Galaxy's greatest alien gimmick is a indie gimmick. It only should have been in the independents. Coming here, she wants to be AEW Women's Champion. She wants to be TBS Women's Champion, one of those titles. She needed to drop that gimmick. It just does not work to be someone that you want to be serious. Having her hold that championship, going out and do interviews, and talking like she's from a different galaxy, people will be like, what the fuck is up with this? But tonight, that promo she cut was absolutely the best fucking promo. I don't know if she's talking Eddie Kingston, CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, Dustin Rhodes. I don't know who she's talking to get her promos as good as possible. But Statlander is just so much better promo-wise since dropping the alien gimmick. And I hope we get to hear from her more than we usually do. This was the best promo she's ever cut. We go to the match. By far, like I said, out of every match that we've had, and Yuka Sakazaki and Riho was a damn good match. Riho and Ruby Soho was a pretty good match. This was by far the best match in the entire women's tournament. And I'm going to be right now, the match with the Faker at the pay-per-view is not going to top it. Plain and simple. Here's the problem with having, like, if you took out the 2 Owen Hart Cup tournament matches, you'd have 11 matches on the card. But they're there. I don't think Tony Khan should have had 13 matches plus the match on the buy-in, which they need to take 2 of those matches. Anna Jay versus Jade Cargill needs to be on the buy-in. There was, like, you're going to have a full hour of buy-in. You should have at least Jade Cargill versus Anna Jay. We've seen it already. We don't need it to be on pay-per-view. Honestly, the House of Black and the Death Triangle, that could be on the buy-in as well. The last time the House of Black wrestled 2/3 of the Death Triangle with Eric Redbeard, it was on the buy-in. It should be there again. Those 2 plus the Hookhausen match, which will probably take maybe 5 minutes at that, should all be on the buy-in, and then you could still have a little bit more room to breathe. Problem with having so many matches on pay-per-view is that this isn't the WWE Network pre-Peacock where they could have a show all the way to midnight. I hope the hell that doesn't happen, but that also has a problem with having 12 matches on your main pay-per-view. Oh yeah, by the way, the Paige Van Zandt, like that Scorpio Sky, I forgot to finish that up. The Scorpio Sky segment had Sammy Guevara, Tay Conti, and Kazarian show up at American Top Team, destroy a glass case with belts in. Sammy Guevara stole the the Bad Motherfucker title belt, which was given to them by The Rock, and Tay Conti and Kazarian stole some other UFC championships. So, at the pay-per-view, we get Paige Van Zandt and the Men of the Year versus Scorpio Scott versus Kazarian, Sammy Guevara, and Tay Conti. If the Men of the Year and Paige Van Zandt win, which honestly they should and they will, then Sammy Guevara and Kazarian can no longer challenge for the TNT title. And I'm going to say probably as long as he holds the title, because give me a break. I'm sure it's going to be more reiterated to that as long as Scorpio Sky holds the championship, they can no longer challenge for it, which everybody will be happy about. So let's just do that. So we get this match here. They exchange submissions, but Statlander gets the upper hand and sweeps the leg. Statlander delivers a shoulder block to Soho, then tosses her to the mat. Statlander delivers another shoulder block and goes for the pin, but Soho kicks out. The 2 lock up again, and Soho delivers an arm drag for the middle rope. Statlander delivers a forearm, and Soho delivers a kick. Statlander takes Soho down with a kick to the knee. Statlander hits a delayed vertical suplex. She goes for the pin, but Soho kicks out. Statlander locks in a neck submission, but Soho escapes. Soho goes off the ropes, but Statlander catches her. She hits her with a body slam followed by a standing crossbody. She goes for the pin, but Soho kicks out again. Soho gets rolled up, but Statlander kicks out. Statlander hits Soho with another body slam and gets Soho up. But Soho counters with a crossbody. The two exchange forearms with another one, but before Statlander can get at the upper hand and deliver a power slam, she goes for another pin. Soho kicks out. Statlander gets Soho on her shoulders. She's standing up the top rope, but Soho counters into a Hurricane Rana. Awesome move. Statlander hits a powerbomb onto Soho, but Soho kicks out. Statlander gets Soho up in her shoulders. Soho counters it into a no future, but Statlander falls out of the ring. She tries to get it back in. Soho leaps up to the apron and hits a Hurricane Rana. Soho sends Statlander back into the ring. Hits a shoulder driver into the mat off the rope. Soho locks in a shoulder submission, but Statlander grabs the bottom rope she gets her foot on the bottom rope to break it up. Statlander gets Soho on her shoulders and does an Alabama slam into the top turnbuckle. Statlander hits a German suplex, and then the Big Bang, not the Big Bang Theory, she did a twisting, she had her up in a superplex and a vertical suplex, and spun her around and slammed her down. 2.9999999, and Soho kicks out. The crowd was pissed. The crowd thought that Statlander won right then and there. So Soho, they get back up. Soho trips Statlander, gets her into a cradle. 1, 2, 3. And Ruby Soho wins. The crowd was pissed. The crowd really wanted Statlander to win this match. The crowd was begging for Statlander to win this match. They wanted Kris Statlander to move on and win this whole damn thing. But people need to remember something. Kris Statlander was a backup for this tournament, which is a crying shame because Statlander is fantastic. And there was no reason she shouldn't have been in this tournament in the first place. She should have been in the qualifying match. She should have been, honestly, Ruby Soho versus Kris Statlander should have been the finals. The Faker should be nowhere near the finals of this tournament. She should have lost in round 1, facing anybody other than Maki Ito. Maki Ito's match could have been against anybody else in the tournament. It should have been Red Velvet versus Ruby versus the Faker, and then the baddies cost the Faker, allowing Red Velvet to move on, and so on and so forth. But no. We gotta have the Faker at the pay-per-view. Again, Ruby Soho should win, or the entire women's tournament has been an absolute disgrace. I'll say this again. Britt Baker has no business being in the finals of this fucking tournament! Tony Khan needs to get his lips off of her ass. Plain and simple. Best match of the tournament. This is going to be the best match of the tournament because anything that Britt Baker touches turns to shit. She comes out wearing a Johnny Depp, Captain Jack Sparrow, so we know which side she's on in that entire trial, which that's neither here nor there. And Soho tells her to put the mic down because no one wants to hear her talk, which the crowd boos Soho as Soho says Statlander is a friend, which the crowd got pissed off even more. She says that she what you saw she did to her, and on Sunday she's going to hurt her, and she said she had a receipt for her at the after the Grand Slam, and on Sunday she's going to cash her receipt. So, yeah, Ruby Soho was always going to win this match. I don't think the crowd reaction would have been this bad had it been Shida, who was supposed to be in this position, because that was obviously who was going to beat Red Velvet. It was going to be Ruby Soho versus Shida, which I hope we do get that match down the line if we haven't had it yet. But, yeah, Kris Statlander, you can definitely tell the fans want more from Kris Statlander. They love themselves some Kris Statlander. Losing the alien gimmick has not hurt her one bit. And honestly, I hope by the end of this year I hope she's the one to beat Jade Cargill. I really do. I really hope by the end of this year we have a TBS champion in Kris Statlander, and she could be the one who takes that title into 2023. I know everybody wanted Kris Statlander to win, but if Kris Statlander was going to win this match, she would have been in the tournament in the first place, and she wasn't. They just put themselves in a really shitty position. They really did. Because Shida's been working over in Japan for Tokyo Joshi Pro, I'm pretty sure. And I know, yeah, the restrictions are much better now. You can actually go to and from. I mean, hell, Dominion is, I believe, 2 weeks before Forbidden Door. And I bring that up because the Great Khan and Jeff Cobb just made their Great Khan made his debut and Jeff Cobb made his return, attacking and destroying the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Title match on Wednesday. Well, they are taking on the Bullet Club for the IWGP World Heavyweight Tag Team titles at Dominion. So maybe we could see a Ring of Honor versus a Ring of Honor Tag Team title FTR versus the what the hell is their team name? The group name? The Kingdom? No. The Empire, yeah, the Empire versus the Mighty Empire, whatever, the Empire, in a winner-take-all Ring of Honor Tag Team titles versus winner-take-all ROH and IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Title Championship match. Do I see that happening? Probably not, but yes, that's like, so they're going over the Dominion, and then a couple days later, they'll probably be back in the States. So the whole reason why they had to move Shida away is because, or take Shida out, even though they could have did it better, is they had to say that she had an injury because apparently Shida clarified this on her social that you had to be checked by AEW's doctor in time for the tournament, and she wasn't going to be able to do that, so they had to replace her. Well, if they knew that Shida was going over to wrestle in Japan, she was going to take a sabbatical from AEW, I wouldn't have put her in the tournament in the first place. I would have put Chris Statlander there just to do it. But yeah, I can see that the Statlander is becoming more over with the fans. Fans wanted her to win tonight. Hopefully you keep that same energy with Chris Statlander whenever she's having a match, whether it's on Dark Elevation, Wednesday night, or Rampage. If she's on an AEW television show, you give her all the love and make Tony Khan see that she should be in contention for a Women's Championship very, very soon. I didn't expect her to beat Red Velvet. I totally expected to be Ruby Soho versus Red Velvet. I figured they were just having Chris Statlander come in. I mean, yeah, Shida was going to beat Red Velvet. That was obvious. They wanted to do Shida versus Ruby Soho. We didn't get that. So they went with this. But I would have had, just because Statlander was coming in as a replacement, I would have had Statlander lose to Red Velvet just because that would have been what to do. But they did, well, instead of, changing course, we're just going to take the person who was supposed to win out and we're going to replace him with this person to win that match. So, yeah, there's a lot looking forward to. And, yeah, moving on to SmackDown. Oh, my goodness, this show sucks. So we have the Usos come out. They're the opening act. No Roman tonight because Roman disappearing from the show is going to be happening a lot more. We probably won't see him till... Oh, he's not even being advertised for Money in the Bank anymore because they moved it from a stadium show down to the Mandalay Bay, I believe it is. So, yeah. I don't know what they're going to be doing now with him. So, okay. Excuse me. Jay welcomes us to the crowd of SmackDown, and Jimmy tells the audience to put their hands in the air and thank the Tribal Chief. And you could see a lot of people in the background are actually doing this. I didn't even notice this because I really don't pay attention to the crowd, but on Monday's Wrestling Observer Live with, not radio, but live with Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez mentioned how ever since AEW has come around, the fans at WWE shows have not become hijackers. They don't hijack the show anymore. There used to be times where the fans would try to take over the show and make the show about them, beach balls, all that shit. You have fucking Monday where you had Damian Priest say, "Everybody rise." And all are rising, so he has to look around and say, "I said rise." They all do. Just like tonight, you have Jimmy Uso put their fingers up and say, do the ones, and they do. So, very interesting to see how the crowds for WWE has changed since AEW pretty much took all of the hijackers away. They put their hands up and they thank the tribal chief. He thanks Reigns for allowing them to beat RK Bro last week on their own. Wink, wink, wink. Jay says they've been here in the company for 12 years. 2 days ago was their 12th year anniversary. He says that never in a million years did he think they would still be here in the same company in this ring. If you weren't related to The Rock, that's definitely a true statement. But because you're related to The Rock, that's not a true statement. Says the audience has been there up so he says he's gonna go a little off script here. He's gonna thank the audience and everything. He says has seen their ups and their downs, watched them grow up in front of them. He says the whole time the fans have been there by their side and they're very thankful for them. And it's like, this is typical WWE. They did this with Alexa Bliss a couple years ago where she would come out and there was a time where she was like thankful to the fans. She was being all like doing a shoot style promo and speaking from the heart. And they go, psych, I lied to you. Same thing they did with Carmella as well. So Jimmy gets on the mic and says, for the past 12 years, we realized we absolutely needed nobody. And they're like pointing all these guys like, we didn't need you or you or you or you. You with the Kevin Owens show, we definitely didn't need you. Laughing. They hold up the title and say Randy Orton is at home because of them. They say they are the ones. Out comes Nakamura's music. He comes out and says he and his partner challenged them to a match for the tag team titles. The Usos ask, where's your partner? You know, good old Rick Boogs. He's sitting at home on the sideline as well because of them busting him up, and Rick Boogs busting himself up at WrestleMania. So he reveals his partner to be Matt Riddle. And you're like, why is this happening? One, the brand split's pretty much dead. Let's just sit that right there. It's only a name. This is like brand split 2000, like the brand extension 2011 time, before they decided to end the brand extension and go back to having one roster. Is the fact that they like from 2010, like the end of 2010 to 2011, when the brand extension finally died, when they just put everyone on the same brand on all shows. They like for a while there, it was like the brand extension was just there in name alone because that's all it was. And then one day they're like, okay, let's drop it. So that's what they're pretty much doing here. The second thing is Michael Cole made this real obvious. The fact that these two, Matt Riddle and Shinsuke Nakamura, have something in common when it comes to the Usos. The Usos are in storyline are responsible for their tag team partners being injured. So bring these two together, and there you go. The Usos, Riddle and Shinsuke Nakamura start brawling with each other. The Usos get the upper hand and beat down Nakamura 2-on-1. Riddle flips off the top rope and makes the save and kicks the Usos out of the ring. They hold up the championships and then throw them down, and that was that. So we're not getting RK. I think RK Bro is absolutely done. If Randy Orton is legitimately injured, hope he gets a speedy recovery. It could just be WWE's way of giving him time off because Randy Orton he's been killing it for the last 9 months, 10 months. This whole time that these two have been together, he's been absolutely killing it, and honestly, he deserves to have himself if they want to give Randy Orton a couple of weeks, a month off, by all means, that's fine by me. We get a video recapping Raquel Rodriguez and Ronda Rousey from the night after the Friday after WrestleMania Backlash. Raquel comes out smiling. She's just smiling, showing off her shoulder blades, I think it is, and everything. And we go to the women's locker room. Natalya, Leah, Xia Li, Shayna Baszler, and Shotzi are all back there. Shotzi is asking others, why does she get another shot at the title? She talks to them one-on-one, and they all walk off, presumably to the ring. Not really. They just, like, Xia Li and Aaliyah leave. They just, fuck this shit. No. He talks to the other two, talks them up. Shotzi, after we go to commercial, we come back, and it's like, Natalya and Shayna are like, come on, let's do this. So Shotzi puts her jacket on. She goes to get her helmet, puts it on. She goes to leave, and the door is locked. You're inside the locker room. You're inside the locker room. How the fuck are you locked in a locker room? That doesn't make any fucking sense. I've seen those lockers before, like in other buildings. The lock is on, like, the lock's right there above the handle. Why aren't you going to be able to just, I don't know, change the dial or like unlock it? So Aaliyah's outside with the key, and it's like whatever. Backstage, commercial break. Nakamura and Riddle are backstage. They interviewed by Kayla Braxton, who asked how Orton feels about bringing them a tag team. Riddle says it was Orton's idea, and they will dominate. Nakamura's like, he's no Rick Boogs, but he's also a pretty damn good wrestler. And Matt Riddle said the same thing about Shinsuke Nakamura. So those guys will be going up against the Usos on Monday in a championship contenders match, because I thought we were done with championship contenders because they disappeared for a while. And no, WWE will just continue to bring them back. Speaking of championship contenders, Ronda Rousey versus Raquel Rodriguez. This match lasted not even 2 minutes, like 40 seconds. 40 seconds. And Baszler and Natalya interfere. And you know what we haven't seen in a while? It's a tag team match, player. Ronda Rousey and Raquel Rodriguez versus Shayna Baszler and Natalya. I hate this booking so fucking much. This is the best they got. Hell in a Cell is next Sunday, and you're giving us garbage like this. Is Ronda even defending the title at the pay-per-view? She doesn't have to. Probably be better if she didn't. Long story short, powerbomb by Raquel Rodriguez, which I have no fucking idea what Michael Cole called it. But he gave it a name. I don't have a clue what the hell he called it. 1, 2, 3. Ronda Rousey and Raquel win. That is that. We got a hype package for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, which has been moved to a smaller venue because WWE, I don't know why they did it, but also it's because WWE didn't get enough interest in Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank isn't worthy enough of a stadium show. The only pay-per-views that should be in a stadium for the remainder of the year are SummerSlam, Clash at the Castle, and Crown Jewel. That is it. Not even Survivor Series deserves to be in a stadium. It's not like we don't even have a big four anymore because the Survivor Series just doesn't have that same appeal like it did back in the day. When they the original four were, of course, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. That used to be their only pay-per-views with the King of the Ring in '93. But over the last two decades, it really hasn't had that appeal of a fourth pay-per-view, a big four. So we're up to the big three. And those three, well, we should say the big five if you want to count the two Saudi shows. Those are your big five. You have WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, and the two Saudi shows. And this year it's 6 because of the Clash at the Castle. That's all you should have for stadium shows. Nothing else. Back from break, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods are backstage with Mackenzie Mitchell. She asks who the partner is, and they do a bunch of jokes, which don't land at all. Say the partner could be anyone, name drop a bunch of random shit, dumb shit, a lot of names that aren't even real. It says they have the element of surprise on their side. We get a video package recapping Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin from 2 weeks ago, and Moss will be back next week. Gee, that neck injury must not have did too much to you because you're back 3 weeks later. Yeah, literally, 3 weeks later, Madcap Moss returns. We're going to get Baron Corbin and Madcap Moss added to Hell in a Cell. Inside Hell in a Cell. I hope the fuck not. Los Lotharios make their way to the ring. They do their kiss cam with we add to another commercial break. Back from break, Mahal's music hits, but they're nowhere to be seen because it's Jinder Mahal and Shanky versus the Los Lotharios. We go backstage and Mahal is looking for Shanky. He opens a door and his music's playing. We look through the door and Shanky is dancing to Mahal's music. And Mahal is like, dude, we're supposed to be in the ring. Let's go. So they get to the ring. They have the match. Angel Garza is more focused on wooing Samantha Irvine, who is dating Ricochet, mind you. So he takes his pants off in front of her, his snap off. He dances in front of her. Shanky takes him out in the ring. Carrillo hits a kick to Mahal, and gets the pin in the win. Yeah. So I guess Samantha Irvine is just going to be somebody that, like the Los Lotharios and Shanky, because after Mahal yells at Shanky, he puts his hand in his face like, stop. Mahal leaves. Shanky turns around, sees Samantha Irvine, smiles, and starts dancing to Mahal's music. This is trash. Absolute trash. Max Dupree is backstage with Adam Pearce. He asks if Pearce had reached out to the legal about his agency, and Pearce says he is officially part of SmackDown. Dupree says he is going to look for his first client. You don't have your first client already? Are we going to have Mason Mansoor become the most unimportant tag team ever? I don't know. In comes Kevin Owens, who's here to be, quote-unquote, interviewing somebody from the bloodline. He brings out his his best frenemy, Sami Zayn. False advertisement, which I find very funny for Vince McMahon to tell somebody about false advertisement. You hypocrite. Owens reveals that his guest was Sami Zayn. The two hug. Owens compliments his hair. The two say the bad blood in the past is under the water under the bridge. Owens says Zayn has been amazing in the bloodline, and Owens has been incredible on Raw. He says, obviously Ezekiel and Elias are the same person. And Owens just stops, comes forward, and gives him another hug. And you could just see he's like, oh my God, finally somebody said what I want, has agreed with me. Owens invites him to Raw to expose the liars in the locker room, but Zayn says he has too much on his plate and declines his offer. Zayn calls Owens oos, and Owens says forget Zayn was naive. He forgot Zayn was naive. Owens tells Zayn he's not in the bloodline and says he sounds like a moron. Owens says he should listen to his real friend, him. Zayn gets mad and says Elias and Ezekiel are two different people, and everyone can see that except for him. Maybe everybody who's in the WWE bubble, but everybody outside the WWE bubble know it's Elias and Ezekiel are the same fucking person. Give me a break. Owens says he should listen to his real, and everyone can see when Zayn calls Owens a liar, and he calls Zayn a moron, and they go back and forth, liar, moron, liar, moron, liar, moron, liar, pants on fire, and Owens is like, that's way too far. Says, why, if you're so part of the bloodline, you're so tight with them, why did they leave you high and dry on Raw? He says he calls out the bloodline, they'll leave Zayn high, they won't leave him high and dry again, will they? He calls them twice. They don't come out. Owens tells Zayn the bloodline couldn't care less about him. Zayn says he doesn't know what he's talking about, and he walks out of the ring. Owens goes after him, and Zayn pushes him into the barricade and says, just go back to Raw and stay there. Owens gets back in the ring, and he stuns both of the backstage personnel, or the crew, who are going to take the Kevin Owens signs and take him out of the ring. So, I don't know if this is going to be us leading to Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens again. Like, El Generico versus Kevin Steen, I could see having a banger of a match, but Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn WWE style match, we've seen it time and time again. I don't need to see Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. I don't see any other point of this. We get a video package recapping how the brawling groups came together. Ricochet and Gulak come into the ring. We go to commercial break. Back from break, commentary promotes Crown Jewel. In the ring, we get a backstage video. In the ring, we get a backstage video package showing how Ricochet saved Gulak from Walter to form this team. So Marcel Barthel or Ludwig Kaiser, which they had to. This is the funny thing. They have Marcel Barthel's name as Ludwig Kaiser. And WWE does not think that we are smart enough to pronounce Ludwig Kaiser the right way. So they literally went to his page on WWE's roster page and changed it from the right spelling, which is Luwiv, Luwig, yeah, Ludwig, Luwig to Ludwig, Ludvig. Oh, it was Ludwig to, they changed the W to a V because they think we're stupid. You want to know who can't pronounce Ludwig Kaiser right? Michael fucking Cole. This guy on commentary changed the pronunciation of this guy's name 5 or 6 times in this match alone. It's Ludwig Kaiser. Not Ludwig or Ludwig. It's Ludwig Kaiser. Michael Cole, get the shit right already. God damn. Pat McAfee said it right. How the fuck do you keep saying Ludwig? It's Ludwig Kaiser. What's over, though? So, this match is obviously probably leading to Walter versus Ricochet at some point for the Intercontinental Championship. That's all I can see this going to. So, the match was nothing special, but the finish is weird. Barthel has Gulak by the hair, picks him up, bounces off the ropes, and hits him with a penalty kick, and gets the pin. What the hell? That was a weird way for this to end. If that's not a burial of Drew Gulak, I don't know what to tell you. If Drew Gulak doesn't have the Johnny Laurinaitis or the phone number of Johnny Laurinaitis coming up for WWE's personnel coming up on his phone sometime, they're like, hey, bud, we gotta let you go. I don't know what that is, because that's a fucking burial. To get beat by a simple kick to the gut. Wow. After the match, Walter kicks Ricochet in the head, and Barthel beats down Gulak and delivers a vicious kick to the chest. Backstage, Sami's there with the Usos. Sami asks the Usos what they honestly think of him, asking if they could be his honorary member. They agree, and Zayn is grateful. Yes. The Brawling Brutes head to the ring. Back from break, the video package of Memorial Day. We get back in the ring. The Brutes got a promo and say every night is fight night for them. Kofi Kingston doesn't have the balls to fight them. The New Day could bring out anyone. It wouldn't matter because maybe 3 of them will still beat the New Day. They say they will be partner next to Biggie in the hospital bed. Out come the New Day. They call the Brutes off-brand and say off-brand wrestle buddies, and says they are right here about tonight being fight night. They say tonight will be an unfair fight because they found a physical specimen who is a freak of nature. They say the partner will have no issue kicking Sheamus in that ugly move of his, which Xavier Woods did it in as good of an English accent as he could, and Kofi Kingston's like, that was pretty good. He's like, don't lie to me, I know that wasn't. They say the partner, they reveal the partner, and who else but Drew McIntyre. It's a Drew Day. Yes, it is. I'm pretty sure this has been the match that you've been seeing. If you've been on the house show loops, I'm pretty sure it's been Drew Day versus the Brawling Brutes all the way through. I could be wrong, but yeah. I didn't give 2 shits about this match. Drew McIntyre hits the Claymore. Xavier Woods hits his top rope, his tightrope elbow drop, which I think is a better finisher than the backwards. And the Drew Day pick up the win. After the match, the New Day try to have Drew McIntyre dance like a fool, and I'm like, change the channel. Done. And SmackDown goes off the air with that. So SmackDown just, what are they going to do when Roman eventually leaves for good? Because Roman's not going to be around much for the next 10 weeks or so. He's not going to be on TV every week. We're not going to see him cutting out those promos and just doing his usual stuff. And it looks like at Hell in a Cell, which will probably have the New Day, the Nakamura and Riddle beat the Usos to go to Hell in a Cell and then lose to the Usos. WWE doesn't know how to book any other way. SmackDown was mid. Rampage was fun. And not much else you can say. Tomorrow is nothing when, of course, on Sunday we have our Double or Nothing pay-per-view. Cannot wait. Hit that subscribe button. Comment down below. Like or dislike this video. Follow me on my The France Club. Follow me on twitch.tv/The France Club. And find me on Instagram at The France Club. And I will see you guys on Sunday for Double or Nothing where I'm going to probably need a G Fuel just to get through the review because my god, 12 goddamn matches is or 13 I should say, is way too much. Until then, my name is Franz, and I'll see you guys later.